Thank y'all for joining us tonight and welcome to Songwriter Spotlight. We are coming to you from the West Tennessee Delta Heritage Center in Brownsville, Tennessee, home of the Tina Turner Museum bluesman Sleepy John Estes home, as well as the West Tennessee Music Museum. We hope you'll plan to join us here in person sometime to tour the facility and see all the wonderful musical heritage that we have to showcase here. But tonight, we are here to talk with Wyly Bigger and to introduce you to his original music. Wyly, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. I think when we were talking earlier, it's been 2 years since you were here. You were here for a songwriters competition back 2020, the beginning of 2020, I believe. And I was really impressed with your music then. And I'm excited to see what you've done since then and what some of your new music is.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back and get the chance to show you all some new stuff.
Well, all right, let's start with, where are you from?
So I originally grew up in Marion, Arkansas, just right across the river from Memphis. And after I went to school in Mississippi, I came back and I've since moved to Memphis.
When did your music journey begin?
I started taking piano lessons at 4 years old, so I've been at it for 20 years now. And I began playing publicly at age 9, and then by the time I was in high school, I was starting to play regular gigs in both my hometown in Arkansas and a couple in Memphis.
Is the piano your only instrument you play?
Piano is the only instrument I perform with. When I'm at home, I'll strum around on a guitar. I have a trumpet I'll play. I used to be in the high school band. But piano is the one I'm most comfortable with and what I always perform with publicly.
When did you start songwriting?
I started songwriting. My first song I wrote was my senior year of high school. And it started off after that song very sporadic. I wouldn't write a song but every 6-7 months or so. But the more I started writing, the more frequently I started getting good songs that I liked, to where it's become a fairly regular thing for me now.
So what do you find inspires you to write?
Well, relationships. A lot of songs are about relationships, and every time I'm in one, I usually wind up with some songs out of it. But also just things I love in life. Memphis is one of those things. I have a song about Memphis, which is what I entered into the songwriting competition last time I was here. A lot of different places that I enjoy being inspire a lot of songs for me.
What inspires the first song that you're going to sing for us today?
So this song I actually started writing about 5 years ago. I wrote one line to it because I had an idea for kind of the tagline of the song. And then I couldn't come up with anything else, so I put it aside. And right before I was gonna get in the studio in December of 2020, I came across this in my notes and suddenly had some ideas for it. And so I sat down and wrote out the rest of the song in about 10 minutes and decided to include it on my EP. This Hung Up on You. Well, hello there, baby. Won't you please stay on the line? If I can't tell you how I feel, won't have no peace of mind. Now, baby, that's all I'm asking of you. Baby, please don't hang up, 'cause I'm hung up on you. Well, I ain't had your loving for a long, long time. Well, I've been around the block and I've seen a lot of women, still can't get you off my mind, oh baby, yeah. Tell me, what can I do to get back to you? Baby, please don't hang up, 'cause I'm hung up on you. you don't want to see me. I guess I know why. Won't you please open your heart, babe, and give me just one more try. Oh, now, baby, I'm on my knees begging of you. Darling, please don't hang up, 'cause I'm hung up on you. Darling, please don't hang up, 'cause I'm hung up on you.
Nice. Well, what are some of your musical influences? Who are your favorite artists?
Well, I grew up around a lot of the Memphis blues, hearing it when we go out into town and whatnot. And my parents played a lot of that music for me as a kid. So, you know, a lot of Jerry Lee Lewis, a lot of the B.B. Kings and Ray Charles, all these piano players, and just various blues artists from the area, as well as rock and roll and jazz and just everything else. I feel like my music is sort of a blend of a lot of the things I heard growing up.
You went off to school. Did you major in music?
I did not, no. I actually majored in marketing, which has helped as an independent musician, being able to market and promote myself. But music in high school was still mostly a hobby for me, and it wasn't until I got to college that I really got into music and started gigging every weekend and traveling for shows and everything. So that's what really was the starting ground for me as a musician.
So how many shows would you do, say, in a normal year?
Well, big shows, I'll do a handful, but I play weekly gigs every week. I play 3 nights a week at the Peabody Hotel on the lobby piano during the weeknights, and then on the weekends I play at various bars and restaurants.
Well, tell me what inspired Midnight in Meridian.
So this song I wrote actually at midnight in Meridian, Mississippi. I just played a show there. I was on my way back from Gulf Shores, Alabama, and was stopping in Meridian, Mississippi to play a show. And it wasn't one of my best shows in the sense that I was playing to a bunch of folks that were just completely ignoring me. They were all watching TV and talking over me, and then when whatever they were watching was over, they left, and so I was left to an empty restaurant. And so I was not feeling great in that moment, and so I sat in my car and I wrote this song. All right. Headed north out of Mobile, flying up Highway 45, trying to avoid the blue lights, hoping I'll make it there on time. It's just another night pouring out my soul to a crowd of people watching TV. Nights like these that I miss her listening eyes and a tender arm around me. 'Cause unloading ain't the same to an answering machine. Lord, it's midnight in Meridian and I miss my Mississippi queen. Packing it up and loading on out, counting my pennies, nickels and dimes, spending it all on gasoline, worrying I'm just wasting time. my plea, but it's midnight in Meridian, and I miss my Mississippi Queen. She left my soul to wander all alone. I wonder why she broke our happy home. Well, it's midnight in Meridian, midnight in Meridian. It's midnight in Meridian. It's midnight in Meridian. Midnight in Meridian, and I miss my Mississippi Queen.
Let's talk a little more about your songwriting process. Do you write every day? Do you make that a practice, or only when inspiration strikes you?
My songwriting usually comes in waves. I'll have days where I'll spit out a couple different songs in a day or two, and then I'll go a couple weeks without having any ideas. I always try to write, and sometimes I'll just write a line, hate it, and throw it away. And then sometimes I just get in the groove of it, and everything is going directly from my mind to the paper just how I want it to. So I always try to keep writing in case one of those days is going to come around.
Are you physically writing the song? Are you speaking it into your phone like a lot of people do nowadays? Or how do you do that?
I don't like using my phone. I use pen and paper to write down lyrics. I will use my phone once I figure out the melody and the lyrics the way I want them, I will record it so I don't forget it. But as far as actually writing out the lyrics, I like the good old pen and pad.
Well, speaking of melody, do you find that the melody comes to you first and then you kind of try to figure out the words? Or is it the other way around?
For me, it's typically the other way around. I'm a words first guy. I know a lot of people who do melody first and then put words to it. But for me, it always seems to be the words.
So when those words are coming at you, are you hearing a specific melody with them?
It depends on the song. Sometimes I'll hear both at the same time. I have a line in my head and immediately a melody comes to it. And I like that melody for that line, and so I then will kind of build the song out around that one line.
In your songwriting, when those words are just kind of coming at you, like you said in your last song that it came to you like at midnight after a gig, are you finding that most of your songs about places happen that way?
Typically, I love traveling, especially regionally. I love just seeing new cities and small towns or big cities, because every place is unique and it has its own vibe to it. And so a lot of times I'll get inspiration from these cities I visit, like Meridian.
Does it come to you while you're in those cities, or are you back home and all of a sudden it'll strike you?
Typically, the feeling will come to me in the city, but oftentimes the words don't come until a little bit later.
All right, what's the next song you're going to do for us?
So the next song is called 200 Miles from Birmingham. This morning my alarm clock woke me up from dreaming of her again. It's been oh so long since I messed up and lost my best friend. I can still see the tears rolling down her cheeks as I made that poor girl cry. And she took her van wishing she was here. I'm half inclined to take that highway ride and go knocking at her door. But I'm too damn scared of getting on down there to find she don't want me no more. Now I'm 200 miles from Birmingham in Memphis, Tennessee. And all those neon lights on Mill Street won't drown her memory. Her pretty face is always in my brain. It's got my heart in a bind. Yeah, I'm 200 miles from Birmingham and she's still on my mind. Just call her up, she'd say I love you still. I could hit that payphone in the corner, but I know I never will. Now I'm 200 miles from Birmingham in Memphis, Tennessee. And all those neon lights on Mill Street, they won't drown her memory. Her pretty face, it stays in my brain. It's got my heart sure in a bind. Yeah, I'm 200 miles from Birmingham and she's still on my mind. 200 miles from Birmingham and she's still on my mind.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about your EP. How does that process work?
Yeah, that was a great process. I decided in the fall of 2020 that I was going to record an EP. I knew some guys I could get to do it with me, and I knew a good place to record in Memphis. And so in December, we went in to Memphis Magnetic Recording Company downtown and cut 5 songs, which we did. We recorded them live rather than doing one piece at a time. The whole band played together. And we cut 5 songs, 5 original songs, which I then was able to release in February of 2021.
So, do you play regularly with this band?
Not as regularly as I would like to. They are some friends of mine, but they all live in Nashville. So when we get together, when we're able to get together, we play. But they also are all their own independent musicians as well. So scheduling together isn't always easy.
So most of your shows are solo shows?
Most of my shows are solo shows, yes. I will play with different bands here and there in Memphis. If I need a group and my friends can't make it in from Nashville, I know folks in Memphis who can sub in and play with me.
You mentioned you play regularly at the Peabody Hotel. That has to be a very interesting gig. Probably a lot of characters that you see from time to time.
I love my Peabody gig. I don't sing while I'm there. I just play instrumental, mostly jazz standards and things like that. But it's a beautiful place to be in. It's an easy gig. I don't have to bring any equipment. I just sit down at the piano and play. And it makes for great people watching too. As far as just general characters, a lot of people who will have a lot at the bar will like to come up and try to sing with me while I'm playing, and there will be folks who will try to slide in and play the piano with me. There are just some very bold characters there. But I've also seen some celebrity-ish folks. I saw Steve Kerr, coach of the Golden State Warriors, was in there when Golden State was in town for a game at one point. I see many athletic teams when they come to Memphis, they stay there. And so you see a variety of people.
Well, let's tell folks how they can get your CD and where they can follow you on social media.
So you can find my EP on my website, wylybigger.com. You can order one through there. or if you're in the Memphis area, Shangri-La Records does carry them. And you can also check out my website if you want to see where I'll be playing next. I have a list of upcoming shows, as well as some videos and music samples, interviews, and things of that nature. You can also follow me on Facebook at Wyly Bigger Music, or Instagram at Wyly Bigger.
So I believe your CD is also available at River City Records and South Main Sounds. And of course, you can get it on all of the streaming platforms. You know, I really like how you write about places. And I know one of your songs is called Louisiana Baby. Tell me about that song.
So that song actually came to me in kind of the peak shutdowns during all the COVID stuff. Things had started to open back up. You know, they'd let you sit outside of places and wear your mask and be distanced. And so I was sitting on a patio somewhere in the fall, but it felt slightly warm, like a spring day. And before everything shut down, every spring break used to go down to New Orleans and just hang around, listen to street bands, and it's one of my favorite places. So on that warm day, I wanted to be in New Orleans, and so that's kind of what I started out writing the song, and then I kind of turned it into a song about a girl as well. So.
I wanna be down in New Orleans. I wanna drop my feet down on Frenchman Street. I wanna shake some hands and hear a Cajun band and swing my Louisiana baby around the floor with me. I wanna head on down and let the good times roll. I wanna raise a glass to hard times no more. Go out and have some fun, and when the party's done, I'll take my Crescent City lady on a midnight stroll. I can see that southern moonlight bouncing off of Mississippi, that mighty stream. Same way that I see her face, I see her face every time I dream. I wanna go, yes I wanna go to a place where I know I'll find no sorrow. I wanna move to where I'm in the groove with my Louisiana baby down in the let's go. Don't you know that I can see that old southern moonlight bouncing off of Mississippi, that mighty stream? Same way that I see her face, well you know I see her face every time I dream. I gotta leave, yes I gotta leave. I miss her bad, yes I know what it means. I'll bid you fair adieu. I'm heading down the bayou to my Louisiana baby down in New Orleans. I'll bid you fair adieu. I'm heading down the bayou to my Louisiana baby down in New Orleans.
I hope y'all have enjoyed Wyly as much as I have. And please plan to join us here again in 2 weeks for another Songwriter Spotlight. Wyly, thank you so much for being here tonight. Always a pleasure. You know, we talked a little bit about you being here back in 2020, and there was a song then about a place that you played. I believe it was about Memphis. How about playing us out with that song tonight now?
Happy to.
In New York City, where those streets they shine so bright. Been to California, San Francisco, what a sight. But everywhere I go, can't help but miss those good old Memphis nights. Made my way to Nashville, there I thought I saw the light. Walked the streets of San Antonio, but it just didn't seem right. Now nothing feels quite the same as a good old Memphis night. Yeah, where the river rolls, she's gonna heal your soul tonight. And when you hear that guitar play, she'll melt your blues away till your troubles are out of sight. I hear a piano playing, it fills the smoke, it feels street air. You can hear it from the arcade all the way up to the square. Well, I'm going back to Memphis, oh, 'cause I left my poor heart there. Yeah, where the river rolls, she's gonna heal your soul tonight. When you hear that guitar play, she'll melt your blues away till your troubles, they're all out of sight. I'm gonna catch a train to where I know I'm gonna feel alright. Roll into Central Station, see the blur of the neon lights. They're so bright. Then I'm gonna kiss my bed.